that the plan was for a text to come back from Mr. Matlala and for him to be told that you would forward that text to the minister.
That was the belief.
But what was the purpose of your forwarding a text to the minister? Why wouldn't Mr. Matlala just write directly to the minister?
That was the advice of Mr. Mogotsi.
You see, it seems to me truly implausible advice for several reasons, and I'd like you to comment on them one by one. The first is, it seems utterly implausible that you would drop a bombshell like this, saying that you'd spoken to the minister, he called you back, and you're going to tell Mr. Mogotsi what to write if you didn't have what you wanted to give to Mr. Mogotsi as what he had to write. That just seems a very implausible scheme. Your response to that?
Mr. Chaskalson, do you mean Mr. Matlala?
Mr. Matlala, sorry, I have confused those two more than once.
Like I said, Council, Mr. Mogotsi insisted that I send Mr. Matlala these messages, convince him that I'm able to send a text to the minister regarding his cancellation.
Yes, but on your version, neither you nor Mr. Mogotsi had the text that you were going to offer Mr. Matlala in that regard.
Yes, when I said I'm sending you what to write, Mr. Mogotsi didn't come back to me. On the next day, Mr. Matlala called me and said he's not sending any text, he's not interested. He will then send us over to his lawyers, and that's where we left it.
Well, we'll come back to the next day shortly. But the second implausibility is, why send Mr. Matlala a text for him to write if the plan is that you will actually send that text to the minister?
We wanted him to refer his issues, or what were his issues. So he needed to write that letter.
But you're the one who's going to send it to the minister.
Yes, but it's not my contract. It's Mr. Matlala's contract. He needed to tell us what were his issues. So he needed to write that text.
But then you couldn't send him what to write because you didn't know what his issues were. He needed to formulate what he...
Yes, Brown explained that he would write this and give us a draft, and Matlala can add what he needed to add on and then forward. But this never happened.
So now the version is that Brown's going to give you a draft. The draft will be filled out by Mr. Matlala. It will then come back to you, and you will send it to the minister.
That was the belief, yes.
Sorry, may I just ask? You say that was the belief. I'm just trying to understand how you explain this whole scheme. You say you did not have any connection or access to the minister.
Yes.
Okay. So you were not the one that was going to send whatever goes to the minister.
No,
You
it
were
was
not
going to be Mr. Mogotsi.
You knew Mr. Mogotsi to have a connection to the minister.
Mr. Mogotsi told me on several occasions that he's connected to the minister and the
Okay,
minister's
so on
office.
this scheme, Mr. Mogotsi would have forwarded this communication that you are preparing here
Yes.
to the minister. Okay, thank you.
And what was the plan? Was it that Mr. Mogotsi would, through the scheme, that Mr. Mogotsi could get to the minister would be persuaded to intervene and to resurrect this contract? Is that what the plan was?
If you look at the message, "Good morning, Minister," if you can read into that context, I think what he was complaining here about, he was complaining here about having purchase orders being withheld. So his cry was about the purchase orders not being given to him. He wanted to deliver, and he wanted, the reason they were holding the purchase orders was to sabotage him. That's what he believed. So he thought if he could get the minister's ear, he could say, why am I not getting purchase orders? I need to deliver. The guys are holding my purchase orders, and I need to deliver on this contract.
So the plan was that a letter would be drafted by Mr. Mogotsi, filled in part by Mr. Matlala, sent back to you. Mr. Matlala believed that you would then send it to the minister to sort out his problems and get him paid. You believed that Mr. Mogotsi would send it to the minister and sort out problems with payment on the contract. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you were hoping that through Mr. Mogotsi's influence, the minister would intervene in an operational matter at SAPS to ensure that Mr. Matlala got paid.
Brown gave us the impression, yes.
No, I'm asking what you were hoping, not what impression was created. You were hoping,
Yes.
So you wanted Mr. Mogotsi to persuade the minister to intervene in an operational matter so that Mr. Matlala got paid and you in turn got repaid.
Correct.
You say this is the point at which Mr. Matlala stopped answering your calls and started avoiding you.
Yeah, you would be very brief. It's not at this point exactly, but he started to become more distant or more evasive.
You see, when I look at the chats, I see the exact opposite. I see a more intense level of communication between you and Mr. Matlala at this point than anywhere else in the chat. So let's look what happens next. This from Mr. Matlala to you, not the other way around. He's the one wanting contact.
Yes, I called before. If you can see on the top, I called him first.
Yes, you called him on the 6th.
Yes.
But after you have sent this text offering to get the minister on board to have him paid, he tries to call you 3 times.
I called him first on the 10th, right on the top.
No. If you go up to page 28, you will see that when you call him on the 10th, it's returning his call. You see on the 7th, he calls. On the 9th, he calls. On the 10th, he calls. He calls at 13:50, and a minute later, you respond. You speak at 13:51. He calls you back at 14:15. The following day, he calls you again on the 11th at 15:01. You call him back at 15:02. You call again at 19:05. On the 12th, he calls at 9:34. You call back at 10:58. He calls again at 12:26, and again at 12:26, and then again at 12:27 when he says, I'm at your house, brother. He's come to visit you.
Yes, that's correct.
Is this someone who's avoiding you?
I didn't say he avoided me immediately. I said during the course of May, he started becoming evasive. So I put more pressure on him on my payments. So when he asked to come to my house, he wanted to come and give me an explanation on payments.
Can I take you back to paragraph 30.3 and see, so that you can see what your version was? The same message I sent to Vusi in May 2025 in terms of Brown's instruction was, I've now learned, sent by Vusi to Brown on 4 March 2025. This confirms that Brown and Vusi have already exchanged this message, and I cannot understand why Brown would advise me to resend it to Vusi. Thereafter, Vusi started avoiding me. So you're saying Vusi started avoiding you after you sent the message that Brown had exchanged with Vusi in March. That was what your version was.
Yeah,
Is that
from
version
then-
incorrect?
Yes, from then on, he started avoiding me.
from there on.
Yes, he started becoming evasive. I see all these calls. Yes, all these calls did happen, but they were mainly to discuss my payments.
It's not just calls. He comes and visits you at your house on the 12th of May.
Correct, because
And the one who's not there is not him, it's you. You say, I'm on my way, 5 minutes.
yes, I was on my way to see him. We had agreed that we'll meet. He needed to bring me a payment plan.
See. So it doesn't look like he's avoiding you. At best, he's anxious that you might call in your debt and is chasing you to try and make some arrangements. He's certainly not avoiding you. Your response?
I still say he was evasive.
Let's look at the 13th. He approaches you. Salam, can you take a call? Your response is networks. Presumably, and then you say, I'm at the mine. Presumably, you weren't sure you had signal that would support a call. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But he was asking for the call.
Yes,
You eventually do have a call at 14:23 and at 14:26.
yes,
And later that day, he sends you a draft of his letter to SAPS about termination of the contract. And see that draft at page 365. Go to 365, you'll see,
page 31 of my bundle.
yes, 31 is where there's the reference to it, but the actual document itself is at page 365 of the same document. You go there, you'll see a
It's in the
series
big,
of
File one.
file one, yes.
Yes,
So he has sent you a draft of a letter to SAPS that he is planning, his lawyers are planning to send on his behalf.
yes.
Is this wholly unrelated to what you said a week previously you would tell him to write?
No, it had nothing to do with that.
But at the very least, he's not avoiding you. He's still exchanging drafts with you.
Yes, I've been putting pressure on
Chair,
him.
in fairness to the witness, this is a signed letter. My learned friend keeps referring to a draft. It's a copy of a letter that seems to be actually sent. If you look at page 367.
Mr. Chairperson,
It's signed, the electronic file still describes it as draft, but I accept that it has been signed.
thank you. Let's proceed.
Then on the 14th of May, if we go back to page 31, you call him at 8:55, and at 10:27, he sends you a picture of the screen of an email from SAPS